Okay, so I totally forgot about this, but I'm bringing it up now because I'm remembering it. Because I saw a post of somebody talking about, um, I guess a similar enough situation, but I want to talk about it here. So basically, when my mom was still alive, she was the type of person who would, like, she would, like, be nice like, to your face, she would be nice. And she would be like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then be like super, super quiet, wouldn't stir the pot or anything. But then behind closed doors, she would complain and or vent to me specifically because I was her eldest child. So it eventually led to situations where she would complain about people behind their back and then wonder why nobody would, want to hang out with or talk to her. And it's also because she really didn't reach out to them after the initial interaction. Or if she did, they were like terrible, terrible people. But that's a story for another day. And this reminded me, my mom had actually dated at least 3 guys since dad had passed away. And it just reminded me, like, yes, all the guys she dated were like a little weird, a little mentally unstable, whatever. But it was always just, she would be nice to their face. And then behind closed doors, she would complain so much to the point where I'm like, why are you even, hanging out with them and dating them if you hate them that much? Because it was usually things like, oh, he's a little weird, he's a weirdo, oh, he keeps on trying to come over when I say no, and all this other stuff, even though they were situations where she actually didn't say no. Or she would ghost them for a while. And it's like, why are you doing this? I don't understand why you would do that to people you are supposedly dating. And, like, I do understand the guys she did date were a little weird. First guy she dated, he was a little slow and had, like, this hand deformity. He was a little weird. Was starting to get a little too close to me personally. So I think he was a predator. But thankfully, after some time, mom was like, no, I'm not seeing you anymore. And she even had to get a restraining order against him because he kept on coming over and all this other stuff. So, first time, yeah, she was right in saying that stuff about the guy, but whatever. Second guy, I do remember he was like supposedly super religious. And my mom is very, very anti religion, mostly due to her own trauma with it. But basically, the guy was like super, super religious, trying to get her to join his church and all this other stuff. But other than that, he seemed genuinely nice with the few interactions I saw about him. Other than he did seem a little, I don't know, usually when you meet people like this, it's you get the sense that there is something weird about them, but you really can't put your finger on it. Like when you would say certain things, he would like pause and like give this look, or he would say certain things or do certain things that were a little weird. Could have been mentally unstable, I'm not sure. But that was like years ago too. Like when I was still a kid. But the third guy was um he was very, very slow. But he was also very, very kind, very nice. And this is around my elder teen to young adult years when I saw this guy coming around. And that's when I started to realize, like, the patterns my mom had, especially with the few guys she dated. But this new guy was, like, super nice. He really, really liked her. To the point where it seemed like he was going to pop the question at some point, being like, oh, yeah, I want to marry you, sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, that's actually kind of sweet. Maybe, hopefully, she'll finally be able to move on. But no, once it started to get a little too personal, a little too close, and a little too real, yeah, she ghosted him completely. And it's like, I understand if he was coming on a little bit strong, but it's also like, you didn't really talk to him about it. Like, of course he's gonna be wondering why you suddenly were gone and not talking to him anymore. And it's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things that I'm remembering because I totally forgot that she had dated guys in the past. Mostly because it's just one of those things where I remember it, but it's still very like, oh yeah, this stuff happened, but now I'm seeing it under a new context because I'm re-remembering it. And it's just like, I don't understand why she was like that. Well, I do understand a bit better now is because she was so into the grief of losing dad that she could not get past it or seek a new person to date. Maybe she was trying to in the past. It seemed like probably she was. But those last two people, like the first guy and the second guy, were just not it for her. And then this new guy came in and is like, oh yeah, I love you so much, like maybe we could get married and all this stuff. And it's like, talk to him about it instead of ghosting him. Like, I just don't understand her point of not talking to the guy. Because with my boyfriend, I talk to him. Because those are important conversations to have. Like, with my boyfriend, he does want to get married, but I told him I'm not into marriage. I'm just not. So we made a compromise saying, hey, what, instead of, going through an actual marriage, we do like a fake marriage. Like, we have the ceremony and everything. Like, we can have the experience, but there's no legal binding contract. Because I would prefer that. Because, especially if things go wrong, like if he dies or something, or like it just doesn't work out in the end, then we can both get out of it without it being any trouble. Because that's my first thought with it is, even if this certain thing doesn't happen, I still want to have the safety net for both of us. Because I know people jump into marriage way too fast and all that stuff. But yeah, just all these memories coming back of what my mom used to do, and I'm like, oh, I just remembered this new thing and I want to talk about it. So, yeah. Just another long post about something my mom did, and like, I don't know, my mom was very abusive and toxic, so